The next thing that I want to talk about as well are thought exercises that I'm revisiting, right? So recently I've actually been running into something called writer's block, and you hear about it a lot of time. Or in the book The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, really great book by the way. He calls it resistance. And so you might be asking yourself, what is resistance? And Stephen Pressfield terms this as an invisible force. It's like a repelling force. It's negative. Its aim is to shove us away, distract us, prevent us from doing work. Might look like procrastination if you're a normal person. That feeling where you know you should be doing something like studying for exam, but you just don't feel like doing it. And so for me, it's happening right now at this moment, even as I wrote this episode of the Weekly Hustle as well, and while I'm working on my business. So it shows up, for myself sometimes when I block out time to write, and then all of a sudden I have the sudden urge to grab In-N-Out, or all of a sudden I have the sudden urge to make food, right? Or all of a sudden I'll just be tired and want to rest. And hell, sometimes I'll watch the P-Hub too and break that dopamine fasting that I was telling you guys earlier about. And so you might ask yourself, hey, why does this happen? Or when does this happen? And I can't speak for everyone, obviously, but I can speak for myself. And it happens when I start neglecting my own personal needs. So especially being in quarantine, I'm definitely not as active as before. I'm actually constantly trying to fight off the weight from quarantine as well. I'm not practicing yoga, not doing jujitsu. I'm not meeting up with any of my friends. And as a business owner, that work life has kind of crept up in every aspect of my life. And I'm working actually more hours because there's less barriers to time. And especially when you're living where you work, it's easy to get caught up and get out of balance. And because of this, I'm actually extremely burning out. And I started ignoring my checklists, my routines, all that sort of stuff. It started slipping as well. And honestly, I just haven't been emotionally checking in that much, checking to see how I'm doing. I'm just thinking about, okay, I need to do this, and this today. So let's get it. Let's not waste any time. And so I thought about and this is actually how I stumbled across the morning pages again, because I started thinking about okay, when was I the most productive creatively as well? When did things just flow out? It was when I was really active in the morning pages. And if you guys aren't familiar with the morning pages, there's this great book by Julia Cameron. It's called The Artist's Way. And she talks about this exercise of the morning pages. And so, it all started out when I was burnt out, frustrated. I literally went from making 2 to 3K per week in revenue down to $75 over the course of 2 weeks, or actually $150 in the course of 2 weeks. And keep in mind, I was putting in double the fulfillment hours. So I was just like, fuck it, blocked off my schedule, took a week to clear my mind. And as I was sitting in my office of self-pity and stuff, I started asking myself, well, when was the last time, Kevin, that you had your shit together? And it was when I was doing my daily morning pages and sticking to my routine. So one of the things I did was I grabbed my Tull notebook. And by the way, this is a Tull notebook. It's one of my favorite notebooks out there, because the cool thing about it is that you can remove the pages really easy, and then you can put them back and they'll stay together. So that's one of my favorite notebooks. Maybe I'll do a review on this in the future. But I took my Tull notebook and grabbed my yoga mat, grabbed my copy of The Artist's Way, and went on a hike. Really went out to nature to just escape from everything and practice yoga and do the morning pages. So that didn't happen too long ago. And so you might be asking yourself, okay, Kevin, I'm interested in doing morning pages. I'll give it a shot. How do I do it? And so I wrote an article about it, which I'll link on Refugee Hustle as well. But the concept is really simple. All you need to do is block about 30 minutes as well. Take 3 pages and write them out by hand. And that's about 750 words first thing in the morning. But there's no right or wrong way to do it. Other than not doing it together. And all you pretty much need to do, you can write the same word, whatever you want, but you need to move your hand from one end of the page across the other end of the page with writing down whatever comes into mind, right? Like I've had times where I was like, dude, I want to watch porn, or I want noodles, right? things like that. Some random stuff sometimes comes out, you know? And so whatever comes out, just write it down. And in the past, I used to do it on the computer because it would be faster, but that's not really necessarily a point. You can certainly do it, but it's getting in the habit to let your mind wander, connect other ideas together, and really give yourself the space to censor yourself without create space for yourself without censoring yourself, because so many times we get these self-censoring ideas as well. So think about it like this: it's almost like meditation writing exercise that reduces stress and allows you the time to kind of create insights for your life as well. And so should you do something like the morning pages? Well, if you're looking to get in a creative mindset and can't get the ball rolling, then I would consider doing it. It really takes very little money. You can just literally do it on a piece of printer paper and grab a pen, um, and start doing it. And these are one of my core uh, cornerstone habits that help fill up my creative juices. So again, if I were to take a cup, right, and oh shit, sometimes when we create content, we're taking a sip and or we fuck up and we spill our creative juices on the floor, you might want to fill it back up. And this is one way to do it. So there's that. If you, like I said, all you really need is a piece of paper and a pen. But if you want to invest in a few things, some things I would invest in is this tall notebook and the Artist Way. I'll leave some affiliate links below so you can support my channel too. Would really appreciate it as well. But either way, give it a shot. Hope that helps you, and let me know. Are you practicing the morning pages? Let me know if you have, and let me know what your thoughts are about it. All right, and so the last thing I want to talk about today is what I've been listening to recently, and this is something that I feel very like. At first, I actually had another song that I had, but just before I shot this video, I changed it up.